Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me in the Crypto Garden. My name is Ryan, and today we are continuing our video series, Tools of the Trade. Again, looking at TradingView, and today we're digging into currency pairs, a very useful way that we can start comparing the different cryptos against each other to make the best decisions possible as we grow our portfolios and our wealth. So I have here the Bitcoin to USD chart. And so when we're looking at an exchange, or we're on Coinbase, or we're looking at a market cap website, usually the currency pair that is being used is the US dollar, so that we get these different percentage gains for different coins, and they're all against the US dollar. And that is really useful if you have dollars that you're bringing into the crypto market and you are looking for different coins that are moving relative to each other. But once you've started stacking up your portfolio, it gets more and more important to know not just how things are moving relative to the US dollar, but also relative to the coins that you are holding or looking at acquiring. So when we are looking at a Bitcoin USD chart, all of the technical analysis applies, where we are looking at the strength of that currency pair, the strength of Bitcoin against the US dollar. And in places where there are green candles and the price is going up, that means that Bitcoin is getting stronger relative to the US dollar. So that if you were to put in US dollars here and then sell for US dollars here, you would end up with more than you started with. And conversely, up here, if we were to buy Bitcoin with US dollars here at this peak and then sell it down here in this trough, we would end up with less dollars than we started for. But again, we don't only have to look at the US dollar comparison. We can compare other coins to each other. Now, on TradingView, you will find a currency pair of just about every coin under the sun to Bitcoin. So you can see here I've already created in my watch list an Ethereum BTC chart. So instead of an Ethereum to the US dollar, we're looking at Ethereum to Bitcoin. And if I click on this, we'll have a new chart come up, and we can see that the strength of Ethereum relative to Bitcoin has been on a huge uptrend. And so what this means is, let's say you were you had some Bitcoin and you were looking at maybe buying some Ethereum with your Bitcoin, or you were looking at, should I buy more Bitcoin or should I buy Ethereum right now? This type of a chart would show you very strongly that Ethereum relative to Bitcoin has been on this large move up. So that if you had, let's say, you had 2 Bitcoin back here in April, let's just do April 20th, and you traded one of those Bitcoin for Ethereum, if you were to do that and then trade back to Bitcoin, you would have gone up by about 100%. So if you started with 2 Bitcoin, you traded one into Ethereum, and then traded back here, you would now have 3 Bitcoin. So this is a way that you can be looking across the market at these other movers, these other opportunities, and actually taking your Bitcoin, putting it in one of these little rocket ships, letting it grow, and then trading back. And without putting any more US dollars into the market, just by manipulating your portfolio, you can get these net gains in the assets you already hold if you're trading them against these currency pairs. And because Bitcoin is the first, the biggest, and the king, there is a a currency pair against Bitcoin for just about every coin. You can also do this with other large cap coins. There's usually, let's see, if we wanted to, let's say, compare ADA to Ether. I bet there's an ADA to Ether chart. So here now, if I am looking to buy ADA and I have Ether, or maybe I'm just looking, should I buy ADA or Ether, I can see that ADA has been going down in strength relative to Ethereum. And if I were to be choosing one to invest in, This is a chart where I can be doing all of the same technical analysis. I can be looking at momentum indicators. I can be doing all of the same things that I would do against US dollar, but in this case, we're actually comparing a currency pair of ADA to Ethereum. So that's all super handy. And again, you want to be thinking more and more in terms of not just more US dollars, but in terms of what you already hold and where you want to potentially move those things to get some gains on short and longer time frames. This can also really help you and keep you in check, because sometimes there might be a shiny object that pops up. Some coin is pumping for the day, it's up 30%, and you're sitting with a bunch of Ethereum thinking, man, I really wish I would have got into that. And you can bring up a chart and actually see, okay, well, ADA was for a while here really pumping against Ethereum, but we were in this overall downtrend. That trend eventually reversed. So by doing this kind of technical analysis, we can actually find these good timings. And I can even see kind of a descending triangle here. This might be a breakout moment for ADA against Ethereum coming up. But it can help us time these things more effectively, because the worst thing in the world is like driving in traffic where you're in a slow lane and the lane next to you is going really fast. And so you say, man, I wish I was in that lane. You pull into that next lane, and then that lane grinds to a halt and the one you were just in takes off. If we're not paying attention to these currency pairs, that can happen really easily, and we can undermine the opportunity that we previously analyzed and set up for ourselves by trading around too much. So another thing I want to show you that is super useful here in TradingView is that we can do these one-to-one currency pairs, but we can also compare a bunch of coins all together in one view. And it's really easy to do that. We just start with any chart on the USD comparison. So here's Bitcoin versus USD. And now let's actually bring in some other coins that we might be looking at. We can do that here with this compare function, and we can add any other symbol to this chart. So, I woke up this morning, everyone was talking about sushi, so I'm going to add sushi to this chart. I'm going to add Matic. I'm going to add Dot, and I'm going to add EOS. Has been on a pretty good tear. Cool. So now if I look at this graph, this chart, I can still see the Bitcoin chart here underneath, but notice on the scale here, we've moved to a percentage scale because all of these coins have different prices against the US dollar. But what we're really interested in is that percentage change against the US dollar. And so we can really quickly see some cool comparisons. The first thing that jumps out to me is if we're looking at Matic here, this light blue, it is up, 240% since April 5th here, where this chart is starting. But we can also see that Matic took off sooner. It took off and really broke out on the 25th of April, whereas this purple one, EOS, is just breaking out, early May. So I can see the relative timings of things. I can also see on the shorter time frames that, let's say I woke up this morning, I'm really itching to get into one of these opportunities, but which one? I can look even on a shorter time frame. Let's go to the 1 hour for these. I can see that although we had this huge pump with EOS, the purple, it has been now on this decline. It looks like all of them have kind of come up and dropped down, but you know what? It looks like EOS is getting pretty close to, or it maybe have just broken this support level. I might be looking for places where I think this is going to get a bounce, and actually right here, there might be some good support coming up for EOS, whereas Matic in this case, the blue is might have a little bit farther to drop before it really finds support. I'm not actually going to do technical analysis for you. Seriously, I'm just showing that you could start looking at some predictive thinking against these currencies as they are all represented here on this chart. If I'm actually trying to pick which one am I trying to get into, which one looks like it's going to have the stronger hour month, day, whatever it might be, whatever time scale you're looking at. But I hope that this gives you some new arrows in your quiver, some new ways to think about how you're managing your portfolio. And if you're looking to start trading between the assets that you already have, or you're just looking to deploy more capital into the market, using these currency pairs to really analyze not just apples to apples, but apples to oranges, apples to bananas, apples to Bitcoin, then we can get this really in-depth picture that can help us make better decisions with our investments. So I will leave it at that. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comments below or bring them up in the Crypto Garden channel. But from all of us in the Crypto Garden, until next time, cheers.